joining.
Oh, nice one. Thank you. Right, so let's kick off. Leonard, Sam, Kevin, do you want to discuss delivery, benchmarking, performance?
I'm gonna let Sam tell us about where we are with the release.
Yeah. So we have 910 is out. It has all the Genesis files, so that's all done, including the ICC committee hashes, the guardrails final script, all the parameters that were agreed on by the parameter committee, the new constitution that was changed recently. All that stuff is done in the 910 release for mainnet preview and pre-prod. So it's basically all across the line there. We just executed the hard fork for preview last night. We submitted the transaction. It takes effect at midnight UTC tomorrow. So something like 10 hours from now or so.
Cool.
We will be on in Conway on preview in about 10 hours, and that includes the modified cost model in the update for Plutus V2 V1, and then we will have a follow-up change to the cost model after we're in Conway, adding the remaining 10 parameters.
Excellent.
Nice
Sandeep, maybe you could flip over, tell us, sorry, on the testing, any testing going on at the minute? Sorry, Kevin, go ahead.
No, I was just going to follow up because you mentioned performance, etc., Leonard. So all the performance results, I think we mentioned last week, everything is looking green. All the indicators we're getting back are good. We've belt and braces tested version 9.1. We were not expecting any differences from 9.0, and everything is exactly as we expected. So all is looking extremely good from a performance perspective for the hard fork.
Cool. And we'll probably flip over and consider testing. Martin and Sandeep, maybe you guys could give us a testing brief.
Maybe I can begin. So we continued on the test. Last week, we redid the guardrail testing and previous test bed that we have prepared on the latest node. That's one. Next, we also did some tests on the new Genesis file, checking the hash cost model, proper thresholds, and also checking the node itself, whether the node includes proper config there itself. So these were not, so it is a sanity check in most of the cases, but we do consider that as well. Next, we have been preparing the test bed for all the wallet tests, including hardware and the software wallet, and that is continuing. It will continue this week as well, and we'll have more updates later this week. Next, we also updated our migration from B2 to B3 with some additional tests on our end as well, and we got feedback. So we will be able to publish hopefully tomorrow the migration guide. We hope that will be useful for the community.
Cool. And I'm going to ask for you regarding the updated user story inventory. We want to use that going forward as a showcase of how we approach this. Is that currently up to date, Sandeep, with all the testing that you've done?
It is not. So we are waiting for the test stories to be reviewed and merged on Cardano test plans. So the maintainer there will need to review and update. We do have the test backing all those user stories. So it's just a matter of merging that and updating the weekly test.
Okay, so I think we'd like to see that, because part of our broadcast from Intersect outwards and amplified by IOG is we want to be able to showcase this as being a new example of how we run testing and how we see that quality coming through. So if you could come back to us, do you think it's possible this week?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Excellent. Martin, from your perspective, I know we run our overnight tests. Anything worth calling out on exception?
Not really. We tested 9.1. Everything works as expected. We are keeping adding new tests. Last week we added upgrade testing, where we start local testnet with some older version of node, we run selection of tests, including Bluetooth tests. Then we upgrade some nodes to new version of Cardano node. We run the test again. Then we upgrade the remaining nodes. We do update proposal to Convey. We update the cost models. Check Bluetooth v2 again with the edit built-ins that it fails as it should. So yeah, that we are sure that the backward compatibility is there, and we were mostly focusing on the new Bluetooth v2 built-ins in order to check that nothing is broken, and when the cost model is updated, that everything keep working as it should. And there were no issues with that. We are now running this test as part of our nightly job for all the nightly masters. So yeah.
Okay.
And
Cool.
and we keep working on new tests currently. We are adding the stuff that is still missing there, like treasury donation, which is currently what we are working on at this moment.
And I guess the same ask to you on the user story inventory. Is that current and up to date?
No, it's not. We need to update it. Yeah,
Right.
I think the published results are for some time back. So yeah, we need to update this.
Okay. So, do you think you can catch up by end of the week?
Yes, I think we do.
That'd be cool. Right. So on the diagram we have in front of us, I just wanted to call out. I think it is just that time where we have to realistically accept. I think that we're now pushing more towards the middle of August, unless somebody strongly disagrees with where we are. On the second there, the you are here, Sam. Okay, the hard fork 2 in preview. What does that really enable for the audience on the call?
It enables people to basically test everything, dApps, SPOs, I mean, exchanges, basically everyone can do any testing they want.
Okay. However, we still need to have underlying functionality on GraphQL, on Wallet, Rosetta, etc.
Wallet is done, DB Sync is
done.
done. So basically it's just GraphQL and Rosetta on the CF side that I think are the main holdouts right now.
Okay, and we'll get to David in a minute. What does the lack of those two not enable?
I don't know anyone other than the exchanges that are using GraphQL.
Yeah, exchanges, staking partners, third parties, custodians. Those are the biggest players.
Right. So all of that community until we, I know David's probably going to jump in a few moments and tell us, but really that's they're waiting on that flag everywhere. Okay, David, we'll flip over to you.
Yeah, so as mentioned, Cardano wallet is out, so that's done. That supports 9.1. I think it went out on Monday, with the exception of some issues with the beta version of Mac OS 15, which either is an issue on our side or their side, but outside of that, that's fine. GraphQL and TypeScript Rosetta will be released this week. TypeScript Rosetta, the changes are done. It's being tested at this point in time, providing there's no issues. We should get the release out this week. And GraphQL, the changes have been done again, and it's in the process of being tested. So again, should be out this week. Don't want to commit to how soon this week because it depends on testing, but that is the plan.
Okay, so
we're pretty much on track then, it sounds like.
Yeah, I mean, there's been no blockers raised today, so unless Mikhail's going to complain to me, because I know some of his team is helping out in relation to testing Rosetta. But I mean, the development of it has been done. It's just a question of making sure it's gone through the proper testing procedures and that is validated. So within the next couple of days, but the idea was by the end of this week we would have both of them released.
Okay. So let's start projecting a little bit forward. So we hit Monday. We now have the ability to do correct outreach to exchanges and hand on heart say we're ready. Does everybody think that's a reasonable statement?
Yeah, I mean, my one question would be, so, I mean, on one side, you have the CF exchanges using like the GraphQL stack. Sandeep, I think you're here representing the dApp community, right? So the question would be, are there any blockers the DApp community has basically for the hard fork on mainnet?
I think it's important to say he's not representing them. He's here representing in-depth, expanded testing. So
Okay.
we want to understand that he's done the Plutus 3 backwards compatibility to 2 and 1. He's looking at it from the Artano perspective, but I don't think he's necessarily. But I guess, Sandeep, what can you speak to here? You've done a surface level testing. When you get, for example, GraphQL and Rosetta, does it shift any needle in terms of your testing, or that's actually not within the remit?
Yeah, on that, it doesn't change much for us. From our side, what we did is the transition testing from the DApp perspective. So from the migration, before, during, and after, whether or not we can migrate the DApp, we use Cardano Marketplace is a DApp use case and use that for the whole testing. And so far on that, we are all okay. We are good to go, at least from that perspective, from the use case DApp.
Okay, so I guess our big call out is going to be when this group deems us ready, we have got a serious uptick in terms of outreach on Monday. So I think we should definitely check with yourself, David, to see if there's any stoppers as to why we wouldn't amplify that we're ready on 910 to engage all in sundry. So I think that's going to be where we need to keep in touch with yourself, have our communications prepared, Lewis, from the Intersect side, and we need to start, elevating the urgency. I think also it would be fair to probably call out a point to Lewis around us meeting more frequently, maybe 2 or 3 days a week, actually, to have this get together every other day, possibly, at least twice a week, if not more. But I think we need to get to that level of urgency now, because I'd like to believe, Kevin, if we could go to slide number 3, Lewis, we can start to talk about potential dates. Kevin, I've taken the work we've done in terms of the checklist, and I put it into this format. I don't know if Sam or Kevin wants to take us through this, but really what it's looking at is a couple of dates and then a burn down and steps. So I think it'd be worthwhile. Yeah.
Sure. But let's quickly go back, because Sam's raised a point that I wanted to raise.
Okay, cool.
At this stage, we need to start urgently engaging with the DApp developer community. We had the outreach session. We gave people a heads up. We need to really get the message out. People really have to start updating the DApps. They need to be aware of all the points that we raised. Sam, do you want to take this, or do you want me to take it? By the way, beautiful job, Leonard. It's a beautiful slide.
Thank you.
You can take it.
Team effort.
Yeah. So we this is one of the most complicated hard forks we've done, Vex, as you can probably tell from this checklist. And what we realized as we were going through all the steps last week, beginning of this week, that we needed to upgrade the various networks to Conway, just how many steps there were, just how complicated it was. And we thought it's therefore sensible to give people an overview of what's going to happen as we come up to the hard fork. So the first thing we're going to do, which is about going to need to be done about 4 days before the I've lost your slide.
Just loading full screen. Here we go.
The first thing we need to do, T-4, is prepare a governance action for the Chang hard fork. And this governance action is going to include both the hard fork itself, but also the initial Plutus v1, v2 cost model changes. So these are the changes which will reduce the cost of the existing Plutus primitives after the Chang hard fork, bring them into line with the Plutus v3 costs, but which won't include the additional primitives that will be available after the hard fork.
Is T-4 in days?
In days, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we need to double check the T-4.
So that's going to be 3 to 8.
So 4 is roughly right. It's an approximation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Approximately 4. Yeah. Sam is critically aware of this because he sets an alarm clock that says wake up and.
Well, the other thing I want to call out here is that basically this T-4 doesn't need to be exactly 4 days. We can basically work with the teams and vacation schedules and time zones and whatnot to find a time within that 3 to 8 day range.
Gotcha.
Personally, I would probably target at T-5 and then have some wiggle room plus minus 2 days.
Okay, gotcha. Edits considered. Thank you.
Thanks. Ryan, you got your hand up.
Yeah, just a quick question. And forgive me if I'm being silly. For hard forks like this, do we normally change cost models for older versions of Plutus? So, like, would DApp developers expect these sorts of changes, or is this like something we're doing because of the reference script change?
Well, every other one we've introduced, basically, we've just introduced a new Plutus version, where this one we've actually tweaked how things are costed between Babbage and Conway. So absolutely they should test and make sure that their scripts are going to run against the new cost model.
Yeah, so this is to answer your question, it's specific to this hard fork, Ryan, and the reason we're doing it is to make sure we have consistent cost models for Plutus V1, V2, and V3. Otherwise, the execution limits would need to be set differentially for the different Plutus versions. So the script users will benefit from the changes. They'll get hopefully about 10 to 20% reduction in cost from that change, possibly countered by the increase in the reference script cost, which we're also introducing at the hard fork. But as Sam's saying, people absolutely need to go and check their costs. This is very important.
Yeah.
They
Right, yes, it's definitely something important to push down if people may not expect it from looking at other hard forks. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. This is specific. So having prepared the governance action, the next step is obviously to submit it on chain and to confirm the submission in the user.
Correction on that. So 2 and 3 are actually the same step pre-Conway. So basically, the independent entities will each submit the update proposal with the same parameters basically on chain, and that is the sign off. So basically the delegate keys have to sign the same transaction that's getting submitted on chain.
And to clarify, that's the current delegate keys, not the
Correct.
future delegate
Right.
keys. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. So this is pre hard fork. This is the Shelley process, Michael. Great. So we'll make some updates to the slide before we present it publicly.
Yep.
And you've given me a very interesting display. The interesting things going
We're
on.
back.
We're back. So step 4 is to validate the governance action in DB Sync to make sure the governance action is on chain and to resubmit any necessary sign-offs. So if for example we've submitted and it happens to be on a fork, or the governance action otherwise hasn't been accepted, then we'll have to resubmit it. But hopefully no problems with that. Gone fuzzy again. Step 5 is to prepare, and then this is not it's not time limited, but it's a good time to do this. Prepare the governance action for the Conway style governance action to update the V1, V2 cost model with the new primitives that will be enabled after we've processed the Chang hard fork. So we want to do that at about the same time as the hard fork, but there's some wiggle room on that. Then step 6, big day, hard fork into Chang. Everything goes green. We are in Voltaire. We can go home. Our job is done. No, actually, there are another 6 steps. Step 7, confirm that Plutus v3 is enabled and working. And this is very important, because if Plutus v3 isn't enabled and isn't working, the guardrail script is going to stop us from executing any parameter updates, for example. So we'll be very limited in terms of what we can do. All we could really do would be to hard fork out of this situation. So we wouldn't be completely stuck, but it would be a slight pickle, Michael. So we really want to confirm it, that the things are working.
Well, submitting the new V1, V2 scripts is going to require testing, is basically a test for V3.
Yep. Yep. So, but we need to do the test, because if V3 is not working, we've got a big problem.
No, I'm saying the test can be submitting the Plutus V1, V2 scripts, because that executes the guardrail.
Yep, that's absolutely fine. Yeah.
So what kind of governance action is updating the V1, V2 cost model?
Parameter update.
Okay.
Yeah, that's item 8, Michael. So item 8 is the parameter update proposal, and as I'm saying, that's going to check the guardrails script. We may want to double check that the cost model settings are correct as we're doing that, but that should be straightforward. So when we submit the governance action, the parameter update, that will enable the new primitives for Plutus v1, v2. There are about 10 primitives that we're enabling as part of the upgrade. And either before or after that, we've labeled as step 9. The ICC members will need to delegate from their cold credentials to their hot credentials, and this might be done using the Constitution Committee Identity Management script that we've been developing. But that will be a necessary step. Having done that, the ICC members will be enabled. They'll be able to vote. So they will be able to vote on the governance action from 8. And there's no need for an SPO vote for this particular upgrade, the protocol parameter upgrade. For some protocol parameter updates, we need an SPO vote as well. We need the SPO vote for a hard fork. But for this particular one, the ICC members will be able to do this without other parties voting. So this will be a test of the ICC, first test of the ICC procedures. So obviously it's going to be quite important to get the credentials up and running sufficiently quickly that people can take advantage of the new primitives in V1, V2, but it's not completely critical in terms of time. There'll be a bit of time to do that. We're not under the cosh in terms of timing. And having done that, Plutus V1, V2 scripts can use the new primitives once the ICC members' vote has been ratified and the on-chain governance proposal is enacted. And Ryan, we'll be able to see all of this happening in real time via GovTool, I gather. So that's a blow by blow, an outline breakdown of the steps that we'll need to go through just to get through this hard fork.
Yeah, I just want to also highlight in relation to this timeline, we have the Rare Evo event happening in Las Vegas from the 15th to the 18th. So if there is an opportunity for balloons and confetti that align with this timeline, it would be great to know.
Thanks, Michael.
I think the only thing probably certain at this point is that it may not be the 12th.
This whole checklist is all post sign off from the community, basically saying, hey, we're ready to go. All the SPOs are updated, the dApps are updated, the exchanges are updated. It is possible it could be done in mid-August. It's not very probable. But I mean, that's part of community governance. So basically we can say we got everything done, all the components are updated, we did everything correctly here. We're just waiting on people to respond. And that's just where we're at.
Yep. So I guess, Lewis, from our perspective, we need to use the remainder of this week to make sure that our comms is good, to heighten that awareness, particularly out to the dApps, to exchanges as well. We have Michiel from the CF. We've got you on the call. Do you want to talk to the exchanges, how you're feeling about this at the minute?
Yeah, we send out notifications. So wallet and node are out. So I refreshed yesterday the people that are using wallet, they can already upgrade. We have a few ones that are in progress already. So Coinbase, they started testing with a PR for Rosetta. So they went along to speed things up. Overall, they're waiting for the components mostly.
Okay. So that's on our watch. So I guess coming on Friday, we're putting our heads on the block in terms of saying we're ready. And at that point, do you see yourself, once you get that nod from us, as going back and saying we are ready and you can now test on preview? What are the likely steps you're going to be expecting to push?
Not everyone does preview. Not everyone does testing on test networks. So they have different. It's all. There's no one recipe for exchanges. They have mixes and matches. They run. It's yeah. You would be very surprised how they work. But if they have the components, then it's green light, and then we're gonna stalk them every day, to ask them what their status is, what they need, how we can help them. Some will jump on it. Some will drag their feet. Yeah, I think if we give them 2 weeks and then we start planning maybe a date to give them an actual deadline to put more pressure on.
I mean, if you want to put pressure on them, make a deadline August 12th.
Yeah, without components.
Yeah,
a reasonable deadline. I don't want to choke anyone.
Sure. Turn this around. Would there be any value in the next week for them to join this call?
Exchanges?
Yes.
They won't join this call.
They will never join this call. No.
They will never join the call.
Okay. What do you want to invite everybody from 200 exchanges?
So that leaves you as being the person. No, I'm just trying to paint a picture. You own that outreach.
Yeah.
Are you happy you have that in hand? And if we come to you on Friday, everybody says we're good, Rosetta, GraphQL, we're feeling good. Are you going to literally carry that baton and head off into the sunset on our behalf?
As we have done always for the last 7-8 hard forks. Yeah.
Wonderful. So that's it. We will do our best on Friday to be able to tell you that and give you the opportunity.
Yeah, and don't mistake, I have direct channels with the developers of Rosetta and GraphQL. Me and my team, we help the developer test. So we're in the front line.
Okay, cool.
Of everything. So
you probably know before me, seeing as his guys are helping with the testing.
Indeed.
You know what I mean?
I had a meeting with him this morning.
So just we've a few minutes left. I'm sorry, Lewis, I'll check here, but on the call generally, what do people think we should do from now on to get us over the line? Has anybody got hands in the air? Anybody got good ideas on where we should be doing here and where you feel we need to be focusing? Because that's why we're on the call.
Well, there's a point that Ruslan has raised about the level that we require to upgrade, and I think you're referring to the SEOs here, Ruslan, right? So what we've got to do very clearly is to engage with all the communities to get everyone ready as quickly as possible. Get the message out to the dApps as we've been discussing. It's going to be communication, lots of chasing, lots of talking to people, explaining all the issues.
Okay. So let Marcus jump in because he has his hand up, and then we'll come back, circle back around on what that translates to and who owns it. Marcus.
Hi all, hope you can hear me. So my suggestion is that from now on, as we heard, some exchanges are waiting for components. Then the testnet hard fork is ahead. As soon as we have it, my suggestion is that we continue with some continued communication. So like now the testnet hard fork happened. Then the day after, now this component is ready. Now this one has updated. Now we have reached 30%. So like a permanent slow cooking. And at one
broadcast
moment, you get every SPO that he says, so now I need to sit there and do something.
Okay, so we have the page. It's a good way, but I think we're talking about channels. That's what you're really also saying, Marcus, is that on every channel, as we go and tick a box on a particular component, we should be out there ringing bells and shouting this. Yeah. So
maybe not overpace it, just some permanent once a day, something is enough just to keep it a little bit cooking and up as a topic.
Okay, so we have the page, which I think we all worked on a week and a half ago or so, Lewis. So I think personally, I wouldn't scroll down to the bottom of the page. So maybe we can reserve a piece up the top for latest updates and keep those coming, as you said, at least daily. But if something new comes along, that we can actually highlight what has been and what that particularly enables. Anybody else got some points in terms of? So, Kevin, we take on board what you were saying. Who is the official owner of the dApps? It's time for silly questions, but I presume it's Intersect at this point. Lewis, who's the champion for dApp outreach?
So the name that I was given was, I think it was Philip Desario, I think it was. That was the name that I was given for dApps.
Right. So so I know you're in contact with him.
I am. Yes, I am.
Okay. So let's take that offline, because we need to work out is, as soon as information is available, how does it get out there? And then also to translate that to, is one thing putting it up there, but also the urgency of it, and whether I think we should potentially think about broadcasting upcoming dates as well. Take this particular slide, let's talk to Jack and see how do we convert this to reality and in terms of messaging. Okay. Yes, upgrade levels. So a good point. Where have we got current measures on the SPO side, Lewis? Thank you, Ruslan.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let's have a look. SPOs. So I did check this morning.
20%.
20%. Yeah. And unless Marcus wants to jump in and tell me this it's different, but this is what I got this morning from Portal.
All right. Marcus hasn't jumped in, so I presume it's a correct number, but I think it's worth also noting that let's actually create a simple graph and say, well, today is 20%. What's tomorrow?
246 pools at 21.17%.
So it's moving. It's moving.
Okay, right.
Sam, so you're.
I think we should absolutely be mentioning the number of pools as well as the stake ready. Obviously, the stake ready is the one we care about, but it's good recognition of the pools that basically, hey, we see numbers going up on the number of pools, even if the stake's not moving a lot.
Right.
Okay. Anything else you wanted to cover, Lewis?
Otherwise, I just wanted Ryan quickly to give his if he has any updates on wallets. Ryan, you got your hand up, so you might as well go.
Yeah. I skipped over. That's okay. So I'll give the quick wallet status and also governance tools. So this week we have the wallets working group. So I'll check in with wallets there. I know I've already spoken to a few wallets about the preview fork, and people get ready for that. I know Eternal is working on it, so that's great to see, and they should be ready for the preview hard fork with their SIP 95, so they're good to go. So that's awesome to see. On the governance tool stuff, we've deployed today instance of GovTool to preview, and we're going to watch it and hope it survives the hard fork over the evening, and hopefully it kicks off. It's nice and happy tomorrow. And then hopefully we can move to sharing it publicly, hopefully maybe next week. So that's looking good. On the CC portal, the team's moving to a beta stage where we're sharing invites to the ICC members, test it out, share their hot credentials, and the test how it's going. So we're reaching out to them this week.
Cool.
I'm just gonna say it. Intersect is way too cautious with making things public. Waiting another week to get GovTool out, I think, is a horrible idea.
Okay. I mean, it's just because we just deployed to preview today and we want to test the performance and make sure things are working. And then we also need to update the copy and things like that because it's very Snapchat related at the moment. So that's why we probably wouldn't rush to it this week. And literally, we did the deployment today, so I just suspect we won't have it ready by Friday.
I get that. I just don't think for a testnet it's really that important to make sure all your test suites are passing. I mean, giving people something is better than giving people nothing, saying something is coming in a week.
It's a fair point. I mean, I'd argue that preview in particular probably isn't. We don't need to rush because there won't be any wallets, or maybe only one wallet, so people will already not really be able to use it. Anyway, I do generally agree, but
Okay, quick question. The page we're showing at the moment, just a quick show of hands of people who are aware that this page existed.
Me.
Okay, so reasonable amount.
From the last week discussion.
I know, but it's good. Any more indeed? Michiel, have you? How is your sentiment on it at the moment, Michiel? I know you had some strong views on it, positive views, I might say. But are you feeling any way different about it this week?
Yeah, it's better. I haven't looked at it in the last few days. I think last time I looked at it was Friday, but it did make more sense. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I mean, thanks everybody who actually put a lot of effort into this in shaping it, and really appreciate that. Okay, we've got a lot of stuff to do. We've got some good actions to take away, Lewis, as well. So we'll catch up on that.
Quick, maybe for next hard forks, because I presume this is also going to be Intersect's role in the upcoming hard forks to like be a dashboard, a one place to view the entire truth, like base it on measurements like the other tools are doing, so that you don't have to manually copy paste it. Don't do it in a Git book, build a platform for it, integrate with everything we have, and then it's a lot less. One, it's measured, calculated. Two, it's automated, it's less work, it's more correct. So that's just a big tip.
Cool. Okay, sounds like we got a champion to help with the builders, so thank you, Michiel. Okay, excellent. Any last thoughts before we drop off? Any enablers, any last going? Ruslan, did you have any comments? You're typing a lot furiously. Maybe you can't speak, but anything you want to say to us?
No, all good so far. Thank you.
By the way, thank you for the messages as well. All right, Lewis, back to you.
So I just wanted to say one.
Connection's very bad, or is it me?
Like everyone, I think. Great job.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Lewis, we didn't get you. Yes, maybe turn off your camera.
Yeah,
we know you there.
Yes, it's the echo to twice a week because what
yeah,
okay.
Work.
So let me summarize. We want to propose that we meet twice a week. So why don't we just select the dates? We already have Tuesdays. So could we propose maybe Thursdays or Fridays? Thursday. Thank you, Sam. But we can vote on it. We are a democracy after all.
Yeah,
so.
I would say let's vote on it. I think you're going to get more people saying we don't want to meet twice a week.
Okay. So please vote if you want, and you can put +1 in the thing. And I'm going to be bold and say we need to meet twice a week. So anybody else want to say we should meet twice a week? Wow, only one person wants to meet twice a week. Well, then the vote is carried. Thank you. And then we are not going to meet more than once a week. So
we're just going to have to do everything through Slack and just communicate.
Yeah,
That's cool.
well, I need to keep each
cool.
other in the loop on Slack.
Async is perfectly fine. We get more stuff
It's fine.
done async than we do in person
Yeah.
most of the time.
Exactly.
Okay, cool. But we just want to put it out there because we want to make sure that people has been recorded, that it was proposed and has now been not agreed to. So wonderful. Guys, have a wonderful week. And David, not pointing at you in particular, or Michiel, good luck with the wrap up of the 2 components. I'm sure there will be other items which we will be shopping around for. I think we did get a confirmation from Reese, David. So on the latest.
His confirmation was in relation to the instance of Explorer not being updated to support the hard fork.
Not being updated.
Not being done. No, that the view is that they will not be doing it.
Right.
And that URL will point to either the beta version of the Explorer, which the CF is running, or to Community Explorer.
Okay. And do we feel okay about that?
Yep.
Fine. Well, in that case,
my team has not taken any effort to update for it either. So yes.
Wonderful. That's
it's not a blocker for this, Leonard. It's not a blocker for this.
No, that's cool. I just want to make sure that somebody doesn't go along and say, "Oh darn, you can't do it because of that." Anyhow, sounds like the answer is we are good. Have a wonderful week, and we speak to you soon. Bye bye.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Everyone.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Very well.